What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and welcome to round 3 of the RMC Store Championships that happened on Saturday the 18th. I am super excited for this round because on the left we have John, who 2 weeks ago played Omnimon Control. Then we had 5-color Security Control. Now we have LordKnightmon Security Control. This list is super spicy. I saw it before the tournament started and I told him I gotta get you on camera today so I can see how this deck plays, and so this will be a very spicy one. On the other end we have Siege, who's playing ChaosGallantmon, our residential main purple player outside of Lonnie, but Lonnie plays other decks. I know Lonnie's watching this, so I have to say this will likely be a slower early game, as we saw, just going into ChaosGallantmon, TK on the other end, and then just a mat. I don't remember exactly all the cards that are being played in this LordKnightmon Security Control list, so I'm very excited to see what things get played out. Gonna keep it standard, just play the MagnaAngemon, go up to 6 security, which keeps you pretty safe. With my experience against Siege, he is pretty defensive in his plays and very conservative with swinging into security sometimes, usually just with rookies that are dead fodder or things like megas, but in the security matchup, you kind of want to be hard playing things like ultimates and stuff so you can play around ultimate flares and whatnot. LordKnightmon plays Lucemon, so that is amazing. The LordKnightmon just goes on top of MagnaAngemon, gets a free security going up to 7, and now has a bunch of threats. Plays the Shademon, so a nice blocker. See a part of the security package coming out, and a black source for a potential ultimate flare. I do think I saw one in hand. Gonna go up into Retaliation Devimon and swing into the LordKnightmon, blocked by the Shademon. That was a good idea. I really like with the Retaliation Devi. Popping the Lucemon with the Chimeramon. So that's actually, if this Chimeramon can't be cleared, that's actually probably a really good spot. Being able to get rid of the Lucemon, which is going to be hard to KO, and then potentially being able to go into Mega over that, while also having the ChaosGallantmon Digiburst ability, you could go pretty wide while having good options into Ultimate Flare. So Bushi comes out, swings in. This deck is so aggressive. It's hard to call this security control when there's so many swings going already, but we'll have to see what the security cards come out are. Takumi Aiba will change some things in this matchup, I'm sure, because we saw Bushi and Lucemon coming out. Transcendent Sword, I think that's probably just fine. Like I said, being able to have a couple ultimates out to threaten megas is really good for the purple player, so just getting rid of them and still putting them at the 3 that they're going to anyway is pretty good. Imagine ChaosGallantmon will Digiburst here. You want to Digiburst in this matchup so that if you get de-Digivolved, you just go down to your ultimate. It's a lot better than just losing. But doesn't Digiburst, okay, that is scary. There is no black source on the board, so can't get ultimate flared right now, and there was no options to activate effects. Going to swing, is there an effect? No, but Valderarm. So Valderarm is going to clear off the ChaosGallant, has some draw effects. Assuming didn't want to Digiburst, wanted to keep the draw effects. But I think in this scenario, you'd still have a rookie on board going into your turn if you did, which you could potentially Digivolve on top of if you need to like cycle champions or something like that. But with the Valderarm on board, we're just saying extremely aggressive. Purple only has 1 security left going in. No LordKnightmon into Bushi pressure, but can just poke for 14 with Valderarm, and that's going to be pretty safe. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what Siege can do in this situation. The MagnaAngemon into the TK LordKnightmon was just a bit too quick for Purple to keep up with and caused a lot of pressure with the Lucemons and the Bushis. Interested what he wants to play down. Probably doesn't want to put the opponent to a crazy amount of memory. Well, never mind. Gonna go straight with the MagnaAngemon without being at 3 or less security, so not even to recover, just to have the pressure to probably play more Bushis or Lucemons. And honestly, I think that's pretty good. If you're not going to be able to get out LordKnightmon, get out the MagnaAngemon, you're going to get the pseudo effect with the Bushis. You don't really need Knightmon pressure in this situation because as of right now, you don't have to clear blockers. That'll likely change right now with this Swart. if this wasn't 2 blockers, I would be very surprised. It's Retaliation Devi and Blocker Devi. So 1 blocker. Actually, there is no need for the 2nd blocker because Wart can swing over the Valder Arm, bring Chaos Gallant back to hand, and pop the Magnadramon and just clear the board. He did the effect, but I'll just wait to see if they notice it. But that Magnadramon should definitely be popped from the Zord defeats when attacking. It is only a play cost of 11, so it is well under the 12 play cost. Okay, well, they didn't catch it, so we're gonna have to just play it through here. Swing, block, effect, play Bushi, I assume, Valder Arm, pop the 2. And just gonna scoop there. To be fair, I don't think purple was gonna win that game anyway once the Zwart went off board, because like we've seen with this yellow deck, it's got a lot of aggressive options, and I think it probably would have been able to find that last hit through eventually, but still I do believe that was a mistake and that Magnadramon should have been deleted. So going into game 2, there's the TK into Matt into Takumi, and then so quick turn, just 3 tamers back to back. Considering another TK is the only card I can really see in hand, could just try to get them out early. Okay, going with the Magna Anja, that's not a bad play because as we've seen last game, they went straight into Lord Knight after TK's already out, so this could just be deja vu of what game 1 looked like and start getting a bunch of aggression out, but can't see any cards in hand, so I can't see if there's Lord Knight, and at this point it doesn't matter because the Chimeramon is going to come out and pop. And do and draw discard effects. So what does the security control player do? They're hatched, which means they're thinking about playing a red card. Yeah. If they haven't hatched prior and then they randomly hatch, you know a red card's coming out because they know they need the red source. So it's a pretty even playing field. Putting your opponent to 4 opposed to 3 really isn't that big of a deal when you're a security control player. Just doing it again. Must have a hand full of removal and just getting everything off board. The more you remove, the more time you buy, and you may need that with this deck because it does have a lot of aggressive options, but if you're not hitting your LordKnightmon, I'm sure there's probably a lot of dead cards such as regular Knightmon in there and Bushi Agumon that you want to play but you can't really play because you don't have the LordKnightmon out. Going with the Magna Angemon, so probably going to try to just do the same thing, play it, recover, and then try to go into LordKnightmon. I would assume that there is a LordKnightmon in hand. There's a lot of cards that's gone through in 2 TKs, and we didn't see a LordKnightmon come out of it, so I assume there's one in hand, play to Digivolve on top of the Magna Angemon. I'm not sure if it's the specific deck list going up against each other, or if it's just the natural matchup between these 2 archetypes, but this seems really hard for purple. Anytime they try to do anything, they can really only get 1 to 2 Digimon on board, and one of them is usually a rookie, and they just get cleared. The security key's going to keep coming through. Pretty much any single time that they attack into security, their cards are going to die. Just hard playing Trump Sword and getting security out, playing security versus the security player. See, you see the Agumon Expert, so that'll likely get Digivolved on top of, and then draw Transcendent Sword with Valder on top. I think that was the order. I'm not much of a security control player myself, but my good friend Just Digimon, go check out his channel. He's really big into security control, and he was the one that showed me the Agumon Expert tech, and it's been pretty much spread around Colorado ever since, and I'm just a really big fan of it. It's one of the more aggressive options of the deck. And I don't know if it's super necessary in this deck build because what we've seen, there's a lot of very aggressive options. So having that extra little beat stick that's just infinitely repeating might not be super necessary, but I do like to see it. It does cycle on top of the eggs, and it makes it so you play more than 1 egg and you play a full deck. I'm not sure how many Agumon Experts are in there, but I assume 3, maybe 4. Okay, going into Chaos Gallant in Raising, that is scary. I haven't been seeing as much hard playing of ultimates as I would have liked from the purple player this matchup so far. like I said, Siege really likes to play defensively, which I think may kind of bite him in the butt here, just because this security control deck is not only slower, which means that it can out slow you and beat your slowness, but it also has this new aggressive option. This is the best thing I think that can happen here, is going into Zwart. I'm not sure what comes out, but I think this is the best card in the matchup that can be played for the purple player, because you get multiple Digimon out and you get this giant beat stick. So this can't die to Transcendent Sword. It has to be Gaia Force, or I'm not sure what other options there is. I'm not sure what other options that we've seen would get over the 15k here. This is a pretty big momentum shift, because you get the Chimera on board and bring the Chaos Gallant back to hand, so you can put that on top of the Chimera, and then you probably just pop the Zwart since it's going to die anyway. And Gilmon? Yep, okay, it's either Gilmon or usually the Gabumon. Unfortunately, no Black War Graumon underneath to resuspend, but it doesn't matter, there is the Gaia Force there. Like I said, this deck just outslows the other deck. You build up these big megas and do all these crazy things, but even after the Zwart defeat and all that, and Gallantmon on top of that, there's just a Gilmon left, and yeah, the purple player is at 5, but if they're just going to get popped again, I don't think it matters how much memory they have. This matchup just seems really hard. Yeah, I was about to just say, I think every Digimon that gets on board that isn't in front of a blocker needs to swing in and attack. You need to outpace and win this. I think building up is not the play, because everything just kind of dies. Like right there, I think it would have been much better to play the Skullmera hard play. Your opponent would be at 4 instead of 3, which is basically no difference with this deck. And then you'd be able to promote the Black War Graumon next turn and have 2 Digimon on board. But instead you just go up, and now you're going to have what is likely just be 1 Digimon, and that Digimon will just get hit by an option card. So I think we need some more aggressive hard plays here. Obviously going to promote, goes into Megidramon, so that... Ooh, the deck space is looking really small for purple. I just saw that. I don't know if that Megidramon was entirely the play. Gonna swing... Oh, wanted that to die to play the Chaos Gallant, but then just hits another Shademon, so now there's another blocker, and there's almost no cards left in deck for purple. This may just come down to a deck out. The Shademons can't attack, but they just stop anything from happening. Gonna bring out the Agumon Expert. Doesn't want to bring it out yet. I saw the other one in hand, so maybe think about going in, swinging, and then playing the Agumon Expert. Not sure what they're talking about here. Probably the Megidramon on deletion, because I did see John go ahead and read that. Agumon Expert is going to get promoted here. And then Gaia Force, the Megidramon. And so draw 1, discard 1 from Demimera. And then Chaos Gallant's going to come from, I think that came from hand. Draw. I think there's only 1 card left in deck for the purple player, so I do believe that is just game. Yeah, draw once, draw twice, and that's deck out. Wow, well, that was LordKnightmon Security Control versus Purple Gallantmon. Pretty rough matchup there, but that was a nice little showcase of the deck. Definitely gonna have to get some more games of this deck because it was super interesting, and I want to see how it plays versus other archetypes. But that was round 3, so I will have the finals up later today. So if you're interested in that, make sure you like and subscribe, and be sure to get notified when that gets live later. But I hope you have a great day. Peace out.